What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Savvy, and welcome back to the Savvy Show. And today I got a very interesting and pretty cool SCP that we're going to dive deep in, which is SCP-343 God. So for this one, so far a lot of people are talking really highly about this SCP, how interesting, how cool it is, and obviously it's like it should be cool. It's called God, so we'll see how strong God is. And I'm happy that I actually reacted to SCP-001, the Scarlet King, because for me personally, I like comparing which one's like the most strongest one, the most mysterious one, the coolest one, the weakest one. And so far in the ones that I read, or so far in the ones that I reacted to thus far, I would say the Scarlet King is the most dangerous one and the strongest one so far. So let's see if God could keep up with the Scarlet King. So without all out the way, if you guys are excited for this reaction, please let me know by smashing that like button, and also in the comment section below, let me know what is your guys' favorite SCP or some SCP that you would like me to dive deep in on a later date. So without all out the way, remember, smash the sub button as well too if you enjoy SCP videos, and if you enjoy my content of reacting to them. This is gonna be the best place, man. So please tune in, sub, join the family. We're pretty small right now, but we would love to have you, because yo, this is gonna keep on going and I'm having a great time. Also, shout out to TheRubber. He is the original creator of the video that I am reacting to. Like all my videos, the link to the original video will be in the description below. Please check them out and give them support, because without them, I wouldn't be reacting to any of this. So yeah, shout out to TheRubber. Hopefully this is gonna be a great one, but knowing you, man, I'm sure you're gonna blow this out the water. So without all out the way, let's get this show started. Alrighty, SCP-343 God. Whew, I'm excited for this one.
Viewer discretion is advised. 343 was standing just behind 239. His face was knit in concentration. The old man's nose had a drop of blood forming just below the left nostril, slowly running down.
I just want to say, so far, it sucks because I haven't seen so many SCPs, because I'm sure like when they bring in other SCPs within an SCP story, I'm sure it means something else from like their own story for them to be somewhat of importance in the person's SCP that we're watching right now. So hopefully with me watching more, I could kind of be like, oh, that SCP, that makes sense with God or whatever. So yeah, man, I just wish I knew a little bit more, but all in good time.
Over the crest of his lip and dropping down onto his shirt. Hello everybody, I'm TheRubber. Today, we bring you SCP Foundation's Safe Class Object, SCP-343. SCP-343, colloquially nicknamed God by the staff of SCP Foundation, is an older man. He is a humanoid in appearance, but with apparent omnipotence.
Makes
According
sense.
to the Foundation, although 343 looks like an old man, his features could appear differently to each observer. 343 claimed to be the creator of the universe. When asked to prove it, he laughed, walked through the wall of the chamber, and returned seconds later with a hamburger in his hand. When the doctor returned from the second visit, the previously bare cell had been furnished into a larger room, one that embraced a fantastical Old English type of style.
Wow.
It seemed many times larger than it did from the exterior. 343 was discovered walking the streets of Prague. He was detained after a staff member witnessed him disappear from the street, only to reappear a short time later on a rooftop. 343 is detained willingly in his chamber, as containment has proved impossible. 343 resides in a...
Willingly. Wow. Okay, so far he's on the... Just because he's willingly, that's how he's getting contained. But if it wasn't, then it's impossible to contain. So that's similar to the Scarlet King. So... But we didn't even get to see the Scarlet King. That's how strong he was. But this is kind of crazy. Maybe he really is God. Or someone just falsely claiming that he's God.
a 6.1 meter by 6.1 meter room at Minimal Security Site 17. He should be brought any items he requests and visited by at least one staff member each day because he likes company. Attempts to add further safety precautions or required clearances are unnecessary due to the nature of 343. SCP-343 greatly enjoys speaking with people and seems to have a knowledge of all topics.
He's God.
Visiting 343 has become a daily event for many of the Foundation's staff members, and most of them have reported feeling happier after each visit. Since
Whoa.
343 has been rather harmless thus far, all staff have been allowed access. According to SCP Tales, it was believed that 343 is the one who mentored SCP-239, allowing her to master her powers and create ways. SCP-239
Okay.
is a small girl with the ability to do whatever she expresses a will to do, as long as she is conscious.
What?
If she can see it, she can change it. Hence, as a method of controlling 239, the Foundation has put her in a coma.
Now, I'm glad we got the breakdown more than anything else because goddamn, she's pretty strong too. And God's the reason for her being this powerful? Bro, oh my god. They put her in a coma? What the heck?
However, SCP-239 later developed a complete resistance to the drugs the Foundation had used to keep her comatose.
Oh my god.
To stop her from reawakening, the director of SCP Foundation was forced to request the O5 Council for the immediate release of Dr. Alto Clef from his confinement, and immediately assigned him to this.
Why was he confined? Why was he confined? I'm like, what the heck? Any background, please?
Case. Dr. Clef was given access to any materials he required. All personnel were to assist Dr. Clef by any and all non-carnal means. Clef walked into the Victorian-styled study and smiled at the fragrance of pipe smoke and at the sight of old books. The old man was seated in a high-backed chair with a hardbound copy of Don Quixote open in his lap. The old man...
Don Quixote del Flamingo? Like, yo, they're talking about some One Piece villains right now? Side note, if you guys watch One Piece, Doflamingo, you guys know what I'm talking about.
and looked up,
Dofi.
startled surprise before smiling. Dr. Clef. Hello, 343. Oh, please. No numbers between friends. Sit, please. We both know what you are. I've never said anything about you. Not to anyone. Nor have I recommended your termination. Mainly because you stayed at level 3 and never posed a significant threat. You remember me from the GOC then? Geneva? 1989? And you remembered that you owe me a favor. Yes, Doctor.
1989? Is he just super old, or is he talking about like he has some powers too? And he owes the doctor? And why was he locked up too? Why is he locked up? Like, is this another SCP? Bro.
I remember. I've come to collect. There's another type green. This one has progressed to level 4. I'm very old now, Doctor. I'm not sure how useful I can be. Sometimes I look for books, but I can't remember their names, and they're just not there anymore. Just the other day, a young man came in here to ask me about something, and I forgot he was here. And then he wasn't. Just gone. And I can't remember him. No one wants to say anything.
Amnesia?
Your aid will be necessary. I am a man of honor, Doctor.
That's hilarious. This guy is like
whatever-
spilling his heart to him. God, the guy's just saying your aid will be necessary. Like, doesn't care about his problems. Like, we still need you. Damn.
You need. Days later, Dr. Clef appeared in SCP-239's containment. He was looking through the steel, attempting to get a glimpse at 239's sleeping form. He watched the fading phantasms of her flicker about the room and scratching at the walls.
Oh my
He
god.
turned and picked up the thin helmet, strapping it to his head. The body armor was a little bulkier than he'd anticipated, but it fit well enough. He pulled on the gloves, fingered the purple gun underneath his jacket, and felt through his pockets until he found the tiny box containing his emergency backup.
Okay.
He grinned and picked up a keycard, sliding it into a control panel in front of the glass. He flipped the switches all down to their off position and pulled out the revolver, bringing it up to point at 239.
What is he trying to do?
Who was slowly waking up. Clef was running, very quickly. He could feel her back there, floating somewhere. He risked a glance backward, watching the floors buckle into water and piss.
What was his plan, though? Was his plan just to kill her? I'm confused. Did he go over his plan? Like, what was the purpose of him shooting her? I thought God was going to help you.
Armor
Hold
was
up.
a little bulkier than he'd anticipated, but it fit well enough. He pulled on the gloves, fingered the purple gun underneath his jacket, and felt through his pockets until he found the tiny box containing his emergency backup.
Of
He
a
grinned
gun?
and picked up a key card, sliding it
He
into a
grinned.
control panel in front of the glass. He flipped the switches all down to their off position and pulled out the revolver, bringing it up to point at 239, who was slowly waking up. Clef
So you're
was
just trying
running
to kill her?
very quickly. He could feel her back there,
Dummy.
floating somewhere. He risked a glance backward, watching the floors buckle into water and piss,
Ugh.
dirt and air. He hoped she would be off balance enough from the medications that she would be less capable.
Oh my
less
God.
able to affect the environmental changes on the universe.
Okay.
He was quite sure it was a pointless hope now. He
Go to
rounded
God.
the corner, and the walls slid into chunks of burning human flesh. The smell of human flesh
What
began to
the
turn
heck?
his stomach slightly before making it growl uncomfortably. One more turn, and he'd be at ground zero. Another 10 feet. 9, 8.
Is he trying to go to God? Like, what's going on? What's his plan? He didn't explain anything.
7. He burst through the doors. Where's 343?
Okay.
The doors opened slowly. The being that floated through them didn't look like it was, is, or had ever been a little girl.
Oh my God.
Years of atrophy had turned her limbs into spindly wires of flesh wrapped around bone. She wasn't able to lift them. She couldn't even turn her head.
How old is she?
The tubes that had hung out of her arms were now crawling over her body like centipedes. She opened her mouth, trying to say something, but only a gurgle came out. She looked at Clef and gurgled again,
Dang.
louder, angrily. 343 was standing just behind 239.
Here we go.
His face knit in concentration. The old man's nose had a drop of blood forming below the left nostril, slowly running down over the crest of his lip and dropping onto his shirt. The girl screamed in rage, and 343 cried out, staggered by the changes she was forcing into the world. The drugs in her system were quickly dissipating, with her control over the world around
The
her
heck?
returning. 239 turned the air into chlorine for a moment. Just a moment.
This is crazy. This is like more like a SCP video of her instead of God. Like, we get a more background about her instead of God right now. Like, the hell?
Before 343 could stop her. 343 was kneeling on the floor, ears bleeding. His knotted hands were clenched as his foe turned for the moment from Clef.
What is
to fall
going
toward him.
on with
It
God?
was almost beautiful to watch. Clef thought, stopping for an instant to observe what he hoped was a rare circumstance.
What?
The distance between them crackled as the hovering female changed things, reversing the laws of physics
They're
and
going one-on-one.
existence as 343 set them back into place. It was like watching a petulant child throw her toys to the floor while her patient grandfather picked them back up.
Wow.
Clef edged around near the door,
Look at Clef.
raising the revolver again.
This dude.
Fired. Chunks of flesh were ripped from her body and thrown behind her to the mirror. She screamed as the cancer started to form almost instantly under her
Oh my
flesh.
God.
Don't care much for that, do you, little girl? Clef dropped the gun and tackled her before she could recover.
Bruh. This dude, Clef. He's wildin', bruh. He is wildin', dude. This guy with the revolver. And what's his plan? What was he expecting God to do? Subdue her so he could actually do the final blow? Like, what the hell? Let's see this again.
Little girl. Clef dropped the gun and tackled her before she could recover, hitting her tiny waist sharply and pushing her toward the mirror, grasping SCP-093 and shoving. They fell into a strange field, with rolling wheat and smells of emptiness.
Yo, I'm lost. Did they just go through a portal? They were just on a mirror. So it seemed. What did he put on there? Hold up.
And pushing her toward the mirror.
Okay.
Grasping SCP-093 and shoving.
What is that? What is that? This must be like a portal to some dimension.
They fell into a strange field with rolling wheat and smells of emptiness. The girl was rolling on the ground, wheeling herself up off the ground pitifully. Clef stood nearby, knocking the bits of wheat and grass off his armor. He walked over and forced her body over. Sorry,
she's
dear,
crying.
Different world, different rules. Finally, he managed to knock her out. As she loses consciousness, her eyes thankfully glossed in the...
Bro, Clef was like, this is my world. You're getting clapped. Like, type shit. What is going on? And how is Clef still alive? Like, to be honest. This is crazy.
Pleasant emptiness of oblivion. Remember to check out my new animation channel, TheRubber.
That's it? Okay, what? I need some explanations. Like, I'm just being honest. We got more of her SCP story compared to God's. Like, God didn't even play a big role in this. He's just a guy that is, omnipotent, pretty old, stopped here a little bit, and then he was out of the picture, and it was Clive and her battling, like, the whole time. Damn, that's a letdown. No cap. Like, no cap. I really thought there's something more that is going to happen. Like, maybe God will come, be like, come back, my child, or some crazy shit. But he's out of it. It doesn't even end off with God. This is God, right? SCP-343 God. What? Bro, I'm bummed. You guys gotta let me know in the comment section below. Am I missing something? Like, it seemed like God barely played any role in this story that's supposed to be about him. Yeah, I'm kind of bummed. I feel like there's a few other like animations of this SCP. I might have to do it on a later date to check it out because, bro, this was something else. Like, I expected a little bit more from it to be hyped up as much as it did, as much as it was. But maybe I'm just forgetting something, or maybe I'm overlooking something. Who knows? But it seems like it was mainly about this little girl and Clive. That somehow he's still alive. But anyway, that's the SCP reaction. So if you guys enjoyed it and you guys like this series, please you guys like this story, please smash that like button, and also let me know in the comment section below too. Like, am I missing something here? Like, is it just me that's kind of confused about this? Really thought it was going to be like, a little bit different. I expected God to be more into this, story. But just let me know in the comment section below how you guys felt about it. And also let me know your guys' favorite SCPs, and then I'll talk about it or react to it on a later date. So yeah, with that all out the way, I hope you guys all enjoyed this reaction. Remember, smash the sub button before you leave. And this is the end of the Savvy Show. So I'll catch you guys on the next one. Savvy signing off. With